What's up everyone, John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here with my official review for you of the iPhone 4. I wanted to wait a couple weeks to get a sense of the pros and cons of the device, and I feel like I've got a better sense of how it works. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Okay, so let's start at the top with what matters most. This is a phone and it's got to make good phone calls. And I will say that the call quality and the fidelity of the signal is drastically improved over the outgoing iPhone, the 3GS, and certainly the 3G that preceded it. Now I know what you're thinking, John, what about the death grip? Well, for those of you that might not know, it's one of the things that makes the iPhone have the improved signal strength is its newfangled antenna. If you look at, say, the left side of the device, this whole stainless steel band is actually an antenna, and that little gap right there is what's causing all this trouble. If you bridge that gap with a piece of your finger or some part of your hand, you are going to experience a signal drop and eventually a no signal sign, which it can be a bit of a problem. I demonstrated this on video. So if you hold the phone, for example, with your left hand and your palm is hitting that little area, you are going to see your bars start to drop down. It is a real legitimate concern. And I did have that problem until I realized what needed to be done. And I've just changed the way that I held my phone. And certainly I know that you shouldn't have to. And I know this problem isn't unique to just the iPhone, but if you are an iPhone 4 user, it's going to become a reality of how you deal with your device. And you're just going to have to hold it differently or put a case on it, which will fix the problem altogether. Now, Apple has said this is just a software issue and it will be fixed with an upcoming update. Although as of this filming, we have not seen that update yet, and it is still most definitely a problem. So if you change the way you hold your phone, you're going to notice very clear call quality, few drop calls, which is certainly something that I was very happy about over the outgoing 3GS model. I experienced many drop calls, and that seems to have been fixed. Whether that's the iPhone 4 or AT&T improving their infrastructure is really yet to be seen. Let's go ahead and jump on to some of the new features that's found in the iPhone 4, and let's start with what you look at all the time, the 3.5-inch multi-touch Retina display. And Retina display is a fancied way to say a really high-res screen. It has a resolution of 960 by 640 pixel resolution, which is the highest resolution phone on the market, and it really comes into play if you're looking at a website, for example. Text looks crystal clear. If you zoom all the way in, you don't see any sort of pixelation. It almost looks like you're looking at ink, which is really a handy feature if you do a lot of reading on your phone. It also makes pictures pop and video look a bit more vibrant. One of the things that I've really enjoyed about the iPhone 4. And if you want to see any more about these features, be sure to check out the YouTube channel. I go into detail about the Retina display and the rest of the things that I'm going to talk about. Alright, so next let's talk about cameras. And we gotta start with the top, about this guy right here, the front-facing VGA camera, which is really tied into Apple's video chatting software called FaceTime, which I gotta say is incredibly cool. It works very well, although it is only over Wi-Fi. But if you have a strong Wi-Fi signal, the person you're calling is a strong Wi-Fi signal, it works very well. And again, I have a video demonstrating sort of how this works. One of the things that's not really being mentioned is it's also an awesome free voice over IP client. When you use FaceTime, it does not deduct from your minutes. I actually got a phone call from a friend in the UK, and we talked on FaceTime for about 25 minutes on our cell phones just while we were at home. We were able to talk to each other and see each other. So this does work internationally, and it won't take any of your data or minutes because you're going to be over Wi-Fi. The video quality is fantastic, the audio fidelity is surprisingly good, and it just works very well. Something that sort of makes a fun extra feature. So talking about cameras as well, on the back, we've got a new 5 megapixel sensor with an LED flash. Now a lot of cameras on the market have higher sensors. Don't necessarily let the megapixel count fool you into thinking this is going to be a lower quality camera. The camera is actually very good. You take pictures that are definitely comparable to other 8 megapixel sensors on there. And again, I have videos comparing the camera quality here to other 8 megapixel devices, but the camera quality is really good and drastically improved over the 3GS. And I'm not going to go through and talk about necessarily iOS 4 particular points. However, just say that iOS 4 does work very well on the device. It handles multitasking very well, and it doesn't really have any sort of slowdown that many people have seen with iOS 4 on other legacy devices. So next, let's move on to battery life. As you can probably guess, I am a heavy phone user. I'm on the phone all the time. I'm doing emails, internet, and battery life has been a problem for me. I could generally get through just about one day with my iPhone 3GS. I'm not talking about the quotes, the numbers that Apple is putting out for battery life. This is real world usage. So connected to Wi-Fi most of the day, brightness set up to about 75%, emails being pushed in, very constant web browsing. On the 3GS, like I said, I could barely get through a day. Now with the iPhone 4, by the time I plug it in at night with the same settings and the same usage, I generally have about 40% of my battery left, which means I could probably get through just about a day and a half, which is fantastic. I don't mind charging my phone every night. The fact that I can get through a day without having to worry about it really is great. The battery in here is significantly improved over what we saw with the outgoing models. New design and a bit larger. So if battery life is a concern for you, do not worry. You're actually going to get fantastic battery life here. So there's something else sort of going on here too. There's a new 3-axis gyroscope. We really haven't had the chance to use it very much. Only a few games take advantage of it. What that's going to mean is with previous generation iPhones, that accelerometer, so it sense move it left and right, it's now going to sense forward and back really across the 6-axis sort of 3-dimensional shapes. So you can really move the phone and get some more fun out of it, although we haven't seen developers take advantage of that quite yet. Not much to talk about. So next, let's go ahead and talk about how the whole features sort of come together for a phone. The iPhone is a very polarizing device. People either love the iPhone, hate the iPhone, love Apple, or hate Apple. I will say that I review a lot of devices, and the iPhone is my daily phone of choice, and that really is for one particular reason, and that comes to web browsing. The web browsing for me is one of the most important features to have on a mobile device. Like I said, you guys can probably guess, I do most of my business online. Being able to have a browser that can play what I need it to play and work how I need it to work is fantastic. Certainly the lack of Flash has been an issue. However, HTML5 compatibility has really stepped up and been a nice sort of inclusion. So with iOS 4, not WebOS, you can play videos inside of the browser and you get sort of a lot of improved web browsing experience. So certainly from that aspect, the iPhone 4 has been a great device, something that I've been really happy with. It's small, it's thin, it fits in the pocket very well. It's not necessarily so flashy. Everybody's got an iPhone nowadays, but for my needs it suits me very well. So let's talk about negatives, because there are some negatives to talk about with the iPhone 4. It's certainly not all roses and candy. Mail clients is still awful. So we finally have multiple Exchange accounts, which is great. You have threaded messaging, which is great. I still can't star or favorite emails. Pretty much the only options I have is to move it to a folder or mark as unread, and that is about it. The mail client in here is not very good. It's not on par with Android devices, it's not on par with WebOS, or it's not even on par with Windows Mobile, the outgoing legacy 6.5 models. The email client is just not very good. If you're a heavy email user, you're going to be better served with the BlackBerry or another device, if that's what you rely on primarily with an iPhone. You are going to have some problems. One other thing that I wanted to talk about very quickly is the keyboard. You've certainly all seen the keyboard on many videos. The algorithms here do look to be improved and actually having much more accuracy with the iPhone 4 keyboard than did with the outgoing 3GS. So another something to keep in mind. Another sort of negative, and it's going to depend on how you look at the device, is sort of Apple's walled garden. And that's sort of implicit when you buy an iPhone 4. Are you going to be able to live within the limitations? And the answer for me is yes, I can. Sometimes I wish that I had a bit more openness to it, but for the most part, it has not been a problem. I'm a big fan of Android and other operating systems, and they sort of offer that alternative if you're interested. But know what you're getting into with the iPhone. Know that you're going to have some hard times sort of getting everything that you want out of it and sort of changing it for how you would like to customize it, with a few exceptions of background and folders. And speaking of folders, we are still looking at a very stale, albeit elegant and functional operating system. This really hasn't changed very much since Generation 1. You're still looking at just rows of icons. Now you can put them into folders, but really things are as they are, and they haven't really improved that much. So if you're looking for a very complex file management system, or a better way to sort of arrange your icons, arrange your home screen, or for that matter, even get some lock screen notifications. So when I open my phone, all I can see is the time and date. You're really going to want to look elsewhere. Certainly there are jailbreaking options which you can do, but if you want to keep your phone sort of fresh and with its warranty, jailbreaking may not be the best option for you, and you're going to have to live with what Apple provides. And what they provide is a very nice package and a very well-rounded package, but there are a lot of big question marks as to why didn't they? They've sort of been addressing those why didn't they's one by one. Cut, copy, and paste finally came. Multitasking finally came. Tethering finally came. So hopefully you're going to see those at some point. Hopefully at that that point, sort of they haven't been passed by other manufacturers. So if I could put all this together in sort of a final summation, the iPhone 4 gets a very solid 4.25 out of 5 stars from me. That sort of 3/4 that's missing, I would have liked to have seen some additional features, like I mentioned. Home screen notifications would have been very nice. Some new notification systems in general without the obtrusive OK or cancel sort of disrupts whatever you're doing. Something like how the Palm Pre with WebOS notifications or Android with the pull-down tray really would have made this and the operating system itself and the phone definitely pop. From a hardware standpoint, I think the hardware here is top-notch. It's fast, it's quick, doesn't have any slowdown. The A4 system on a chip coupled with 512 megabytes of RAM makes this thing a screamer and is very, very, very fast. Speaker quality is great. Camera quality is fantastic. And the phone works very well. Certainly I wish I didn't have to deal with the death grip. But so far it has not been that big of a problem. I may pick up a bumper case for it to sort of alleviate that in the short term. So overall, I've been very happy with the iPhone. This is what I take with me when I go out, when I'm doing whatever I may be doing. This is what's always in my pocket. So if that tells you anything, it's a phone that I certainly enjoy. Although there are other fantastic alternatives out there, the iPhone is the one that I choose to take with me. So anyway guys, for all these other videos that I mentioned, be sure to check out the channel, youtube.com/John4Lakers. And for all your tech news, check out technobuffalo.com. I am John Rettinger, and I will see you in the next video.